getting that dub over the Dill Ducks, who are passing the vibes check, but so far no dub on the board. Well, there's still many more weeks of play to come, so there's still hope and at least a lot of fun ahead of us. So let's take a look at the standings as we're wrapping this first series in the NA region. And we're seeing some movement here, of course. Dill Ducks movement trending downward.
Well.
Oh well.
Let's talk about Sakura instead. 1-1, Zoe. Let's talk about the positives instead. They get that win against Dill Ducks, and crucial win because you want to avoid the bottom 2 slots there. And it is a double-header week for Sakura, so they're playing again tomorrow against GK, just like P said, and that is going to be a tougher matchup because GK obviously amazing performance at the Champions Clash in the form of Nightmare back then. But it's going to be a way tougher task. Can see if some of this momentum can maybe propel them to a good result against GK tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at their schedule. Week 3, they got Extinction ahead of them.
Winnable.
So, winnable. Week 5, SSG. Winnable, apparently, given the current...
Apparently.
Winnable.
Yeah, you know what? They could be ending the stage in the middle, the top of the middle of the pack. Who knows? Who knows? Everything is possible. We hope, of course, for every team that they experience an upward trajectory. For now, we're heading into a quick break, and then we're back with our last match of the day. Team Liquid will be going up against Extinction. You don't want to miss it. Or we just stick around. Never mind. when those skins go so hard, I'm so excited. I'm also excited to be back, although we've been strolling through Sweep City today. Just 3 Overwatch kind of days. Zoe here, joined by Johnny and Rosemary. Let's see if the last match of the day is going to be a quick one as well. We're going to see Team Extinction going up against Team Liquid. So let's chat about both of these respective rosters. Starting with Extinction, I believe, is what we're focusing on first. Yeah, this is obviously a rebrand. We have seen these players in action under a different name previously, but now they're back. I'm personally a big Hitori fan, so it's great to see them back in action.
Yeah, I think she played really well as well last week. We saw in their opener against Steel Ducks, another 3-0 in that series. But it was a really interesting look from Extinction. They like to play a lot of these dive heroes, right? Where Hitori swaps over to the Hazard, or even a lot of Wrecking Ball, to be honest, on Ilios or Suravasa. And then they follow up on a lot of that poke damage and secure kills. A lot of great collapsing onto some of this burst damage put out from WUB. So looking forward to see what the Extinction can do in this one.
Yeah, so WUB heads in chat going wild again. Now Team Liquid, of course, you know, it's just a historic org, so expectations are always high on them, but also they have a lot of great players, of course. They did make just one change heading into Stage 2 by adding Zero, so a little bit more firepower to the roster. How do we feel about their performance so far?
They look amazing. I feel like they played almost flawlessly, bar actually losing out that first map of their series versus Space Station last weekend. Johnny, I think they look really good. I think this is Team Liquid that we should have high hopes for making it to that mid-season showdown.
Yeah, the damage players were amazing. They were so good.
And they just barely missed out on the Champions Clash just a few weeks ago, right? They came third. It was close. They almost had it, but then they didn't. So I'm sure they want to make a statement and punch their tickets to Riyadh. And it starts here in their second match of the stage. So guys, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Johnny, excited to be back with you again to cast another match in North America. This time around, we've got Team Liquid versus Extinction. What do you make of these bans so far as we look at Ilios as our first map of the series?
Yeah, so Team Liquid banning the Ana, first of all. It is an interesting ban, of course, because Ana really good on this map, especially onto Lighthouse as well. You want to play that balcony and can enable a lot of that dive coming through, right? So yeah, quite an interesting Ana ban off the rip here, and we'll see what Team Liquid have in store. Last week, they were playing a lot of this Baptiste, right? Vega was sticking to the Lucio for most of the time, but then also RuPaul swapping over to the Baptiste to play some brawl-friendly kind of composition. So this is a Team Liquid that has really been cooking so far in this stage. I think, speaking contextually here, Rose, they struggled a little bit in Stage 1 to find compositions that worked for them outside of Infected's Wrecking Ball, right?
Right.
But I feel like they're kind of turning a page here in Stage 2, and we've seen Infected flex over to a lot of different tags, whereas there were Amatra, Winston, or the Wrecking Ball, Mauga, for example. So this is a Team Liquid squad that could maybe throw out a few different kinds of compositions.
Right. I think Team Liquid have been highly touted as one of the most flexible teams in North America because of a lot of that flexibility, not just in that tank role, but also what the DPS can bring to the table. And as we see Knife in the starting lineup for one of the first times this entire season, we're going to see this Freya and Sombra combination in the DPS to really bolster up this Wrecking Ball from Infected.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting that Knife gets Sonoda ahead of Zero, who played so well last week, and you know, obviously was picked up ahead of Stage 2. That was the big signing in North America, but instead opting for Knife here to play the Sombra. It works out initially here as they combine with Infected's Wrecking Ball, but let's see what Knife can do, getting some starting playtime here on Ilios.
I think what's even more interesting is we actually see most of these compositions mirrored. We have the Freya, Sombra, Wrecking Ball as 3 similarities across these 2 teams. The only difference is existing in what support heroes that Extinction and Team Liquid decided to pick. A little bit more of that unkillable backline coming through with the Bat Brick combo on Extinction, but it is Extinction to draw the first pick as a Knife gets found out in the back. So we saw Team Liquid actually take control of this point first, but now that Extinction has started to make their move, they're going to be taking that forward space.
Yeah, they've been really slow and methodical, obviously playing to the strengths of that Bat Brig, but now Team Liquid pushing back. Kitsune Rush available in tree, picks up WUB here as well, Infected deep into the backline. This is now Team Liquid pushing the pace after falling back in that previous engagement.
It's wow, even the rally actually coming out here from Nenwai, I feel like that is a little bit too late because of just how far forward Team Liquid were pushing. I don't know if I agree with using that support ult there.
That's tough to come back there. It's a big investment, like you said. Like you invest the rally, you would have liked that to maybe peel away from some of this EMP or like a big engage from the Wrecking Ball, right? But instead, you drop it there in a pretty unwinnable scenario. And now this is Liquid really putting the pressure on. Watch out for Knife with this EMP, of course. There we go.
It's gonna hit 3, and it's critically going to hit Wub, who had that bullet shot available. NVM is able to fire off an EMP of their own, but it hits 2, and there's no kills just yet as that follow-up. RuPaul is gonna be the first to fall. Vega is not able to save him in time with that sound barrier, but the rest of the team is still up to be able to dish out that revenge. Amplification Major coming through from Scuffed, but I feel like that was just a Hail Mary. Team Liquid, firm control over the situation, winning out Ruins 100-0.
Yeah, it's a rough round for Extinction. They had that pretty much just one good engagement where they found a pick early, able to build on the survivability of their backline and then push up towards the point. But even then, Team Liquid, they came back with the Kitsune Rush. And I mean, Infected 8-0, already establishing dominance on this Wrecking Ball. And Hitori just haven't been able to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, Infected, I feel like that's kind of just always going to be the case a little bit, though, in terms of having 2 Wrecking Balls, you're constantly fighting for the health packs. If your Sombra is going to be the first one to hack it, you know, how easily is it to be able to take back control of a health pack or even just, like, map territory?
Yeah, it's real tough. And Infected, you know, putting the pressure on so early, with this, like, very mobile Lucio Kiriko backline as well to help Infected out, then they can pick and choose a lot of their spots, right? Like, is this a favorable engagement for us? If not, we can fall back a little bit and wait for a better opportunity. Infected being hunted here for a little bit. Not sure they're gonna be able to capitalize though. So hard to kill the Wrecking Ball these days in Overwatch.
But it does allow enough time for... Oh, no! I was going to say MVM to hack that health pack, but Nemway actually gets a really nice whip shot to Knife off into the well. Okay.
I mean, we take those.
It's a pretty good start, yeah. Okay, I mean, NVM unfortunately is going to get revenge from Vega, so it's still no capture onto this point just yet, as there's still this tussle. Extinction were very close to being able to get that capitalization, but even though we saw the Immortality field, we just see Infected batting them around like pinballs, like outside of that Immortality field's AoE.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very small room, and Infected finds the perfect kind of grapple hook to just go back and forth, deal a ton of damage. Here's the replay, as we see Knife on the Sombra, and Nenwai is going to get this whip. Oh, it was actually the transfer gate. Well, okay. That's... We didn't have to show that production. There was just no need for that. No one needed to see that.
You can't show that in 4K. Oh, now everybody knows, though. I really was like, I'll give the credit to the Brig, but unfortunately I think we have to give credit for the self-sabotage. As Team Liquid now, they've got 25% of this point, a couple of ultimates now to spare as they enter into this next fight. And Hitori is just struggling to stay alive. Scuffed is full pocketing this Wrecking Ball to make sure that Hitori actually has enough sustain to try to get access to this backline of Team Liquid. But being so mobile, they're already very hard to hunt down. With this rally now from Nenwai, it's a really great use of it to just make sure that you've got this Inspire healing against the Wrecking Ball mines of Infected. But now that those have expired, it's RuPaul's time to shine. We have this Kitsune Rush answered by this EMP. And this is just another team fight for Team Liquid. Despite the fact that Extinction were able to sneak out away a little bit of percentage of the point, not too much later, Team Liquid take it right back.
Yeah, and Extinction are finally going to give up on that Batrig support backline. It is just so slow, like without any speed whatsoever. Yes, you're survivable.
Yeah.
You can walk up and get into some of these engagements, but you're not able to like locate spots for the rest of your team to engage, and instead you take these very long drawn-up fights and you don't find the picks required to win some of these fights. We're already getting to the point where, you know, Extinction have to win out, like 80% in ticking for Liquid, and they're already keep finding some of these picks.
Oh man, I mean, just the aerial duel that you saw there to be able to pick up the Freya. What was not able to contribute this bola shot into this last fight, but NVM does enough with this EMP. Not before Team Liquid, though, with these highly mobile and very tanky Wrecking Ball. They actually just come back in for the sound barrier. And so Hitori feels forced to have to use the Wrecking Ball mines as Team Liquid approaches 99%. Overtime wicks away, and everybody on Extinction gets bullied off the point. It's a new era. Team Liquid, they start off this series 1-0.
I mean, they're just so dominant. That was an amazing showing from Team Liquid, really. Just playing with their food, picking Extinction apart, these long drawn-out engagements, and they find all the spots they want, the perfect time to engage. Infected is in there on the Wrecking Ball, and the rest of the team follows up. Tree pretty much uncontested that whole map and just got to do whatever he wanted on the Freya. And that was Team Liquid just at their absolute peak there, picking apart Extinction, who just couldn't find any momentum whatsoever on Ilios.
But I do think it kind of goes back to that Brig Bat backline. You had already touched on this when we were in the middle of the map, how slow and how much time it might take to actually get your team into position to really make the most use out of that Brig Bat backline. I feel like they just switched off of it way too late, identifying a little too far into the map that just wasn't going to work out versus this comp, and Prod, you did it again.
Yeah, we have to show it one more time. Okay, I see how it is. Yeah, I mean, look, you can play the survivable backline and, you know, can dish out some repair packs here and there, but at the end of the day, like, how much value are you getting out of this survivable backline if the rest of the team can't find any kind of momentum on their side, right? Like, Wob was not able to find the picks on the Preya. NVM on the Sombra wasn't able to isolate some of these targets and find the picks required, right? And even then, you find one or two picks, the rest of Team Liquid, they got their own dive going on onto your backline, right? So you're not really able to help out the rest of your team that are actively dying and trying to get some of these picks, right? You're just staying alive for the most of the time, and even then, like, you stay alive for some time, but you're not really providing rest of the team with value. It's a tough showing for Extinction, and yeah, they probably should have given up on that support backline earlier on in the map.
It's so tough because this Brig Bat backline is almost built to be dove. You know, you have so much anti-dive tech when it comes down to both of those heroes. In something like the Immortality Field or even just the Brig Bash or the Whip Shot, there's ways to actually bully away those dive heroes, but you don't have kite ability either when it comes down to that backline.
You so can't stay alive forever.
Yeah, like there's only so much time.
There's only so many abilities, and then you run out of them, and then you hope they come back online before the Wrecking Ball gets on top of you.
Yeah, just not enough time, unfortunately, in maps when they can close out so quickly, like on Control. So now we see Extinction go for Runasapi as their second map in this series. Probably not going to play the Brig Bap on this particular map, but there's still a lot more room for Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have favored the Wrecking Ball, so I guess I'm not too surprised the fact that we did see Wrecking Ball in the very first map, especially because, you know, Liquid, they got to pick Ilios there as well. But now heading over to Runasapi, it's going to be interesting to see what we see from Extinction, because they have favored, like, the Hazard if they're not allowed to play the Wrecking Ball. But they also have Twolz waiting in the wings, where, you know, if you remember Twolz from previous OWCS stages, play some more of those Brawl kind of... some of those days, yeah. Play some other tanks that maybe Hitori doesn't excel at. So Extinction, maybe they want to change things up a little bit. They don't want to take that Wrecking Ball place, because you're kind of playing into Team Liquid's game, right? Like, what does Team Liquid do best? They play the Wrecking Ball. So maybe you don't want to play into their best game, right? Maybe you want to find some ulterior kind of map or composition where maybe it's more of a level playing field.
But I think that's still hard to accomplish. It sounds so easy in theory, but the fact that you could ban out the Wrecking Ball, Infected could still play Ramatra. We saw a lot of that particular composition come out in their last series. If the Wrecking Ball is fanned out, then you just play Winston Dive. That's fairly easy to fit into the equation when the Wrecking Ball is not available.
Yeah, a lot of options for Team Liquid here. And look, I'm just really excited to see what they can build on here. Knife as well, getting that map win. Which is good for Knife, because had Knife lost that map, you would have quickly been like, oh, should they have fielded Knife? But Kazor is, you know, the coach for Liquid, identifying like the spots where Knife could come in really handy for this team, and splitting the playtime with Zero. So happy to see Knife get a map win on the board as well, and Liquid showing that they got a lot of plans in mind. They have a lot of different lineups in mind and a lot of different compositions in mind. where they can take some of these teams to a lot of different places, right? So let's see what they do here on Runasapi. They actually ban out Tracer this time around. An Extinction ban out to Lucio.
With the Tracer banned out, I feel like it's pretty unlikely to see Zera come into the roster, and as I see the map is ready to go, we do not have a substitution. So it does appear that Knife is going to be staying in this roster. And with the Tracer ban, I feel like it does kind of hinder Extinction. I think they would have liked to be able to have the Tracer as an option from NVM. Or even Zomba, if you thought that maybe Zomba was going to come into the roster.
Yeah, I mean, Zomba looked great last week, I thought. On Ilios as well.
Agreed.
Playing for Extinction, yeah. So definitely a threat there. But yeah. We'll have to see what kind of compositions we see from both these teams. Genji, obviously fantastic on this map. Like, this is, you know, a fantastic Genji map. See it so often. And NVM, I don't think they're too unhappy about playing the Genji. Something they did last week as well. So not unfamiliar territory for NVM. It's going to be the Mauga composition from Hitori. So that about tells you, Rose. We're not interested in playing the dive in this matchup. Instead, we want to play more of the brawl stuff, and we think we have a better chance in these compositions against Liquid.
This was also such a smart choice to commit to so early on in this map, though. Infected is going to be on the Orisa alongside this Sombra once again from Knife. And so with that, I think you just kind of take a look at having Mauga with a little bit more of that forward presence against this Orisa in particular. You still have to worry about the Sombra, though. That's something that unfortunately Extinction has already fallen to, with some really great follow-up of the rest of Team Liquid just to make sure that this was an easy team fight win. Very early on here for Team Liquid as they take an early lead.
Yeah, looking forward to see what Knife can do on this Sombra as well. I feel like we've seen way more Sombra being played in OWCS Korea, actually. And they've really identified some of the spots they like playing the Sombra, maybe to help out and follow up on some of the damage that the Freya is providing. You can follow up, secure some of those picks, right? So Knife playing the Sombra in this matchup against a Mauga composition, no less. Should be interesting to see what he can provide on this hero.
Well, Knife has already had great access to the backline, being able to deal with Wub early on in that first fight, and now poised to be able to just get himself into a position where he's going to be able to get some big hacks onto this Mauga. Wub, again, is going to be one of the first to fall in this second fight, as the bola shot from Tree is just going to make the rest of this fight even easier. Team Liquid, they're on a roll.
Yeah, Tree was going for the highlight reel. He caught that bola shot against SSG last week, and he would try to go for it again. I don't blame Tree. You know, just on a hot streak here on the Freya, of course. I wanna give it a go. But yeah, I mean, Extinction, they engage with that Mauga, but then end up getting picked to pieces by Liquid here again. So Extinction looking for being a little bit more composed in this next fight and see if they can isolate the target to jump on.
That composure is going to be so hard to pull together, though, when Knife is so close to this EMP. Infected has the Terra Surge as well, so there's a combo afoot. Terra Surge unleashed from Infected is able to find Wabe in the process, and this was just a collapse of the century here.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good, Rose. A lot of ultimates on the board for Liquid still. They have an EMP, Orbital Ray, and coming up on another bola shot as well. You can combine with that EMP. Extinction really with the back against the wall, and we're just like 3 minutes into this Runasapi. It's looking real rough. Scuffed here has to come out clutch with a big orbital raid that the rest of the team can capitalize on.
And if they don't, this is looking like a Guinness Book of World Records speed run on Runasapi. Knife hits so many members of Extinction with that EMP, and with the orbital ray helping to keep them up. This rally to follow. Vega does get stunned, but even though you get stunned and picked off by the bola shot, Extinction has to invest so much more just to keep themselves in this series and stop this full cap coming through on Runasapi.
Oh, it's so expensive. You have to commit 4 big ultimates just to survive in that fight. And oh, Knife being spotted out. Can you survive, buddy? Oh, tries to get away. Okay, we should be good now. We barely survived MVM, and now hack this mega pack and stay alive for this next engagement there. But that would have been a big pick there, so good for Knife to stay alive.
Team Liquid walk away with over 110 meters as a differential. Hitori does trap a couple people on Team Liquid in this cage, but is not able to follow up on any other eliminations. Infected has another Terror Surge to invest into this fight, and Wub is again the first to get picked off. You're so squishy on Freya. It is a much easier target to be able to grab with one of those bigger area of effect skills, and Team Liquid, they just keep stealing the bot back even though the fight's still going.
Oh, what is happening? Yeah, they just stolen the bot. Knife just stole the bot on Sombra, and so even though we have a little bit of an engagement going on, like, it doesn't really matter, and this is so annoying now. You have to deal with Knife on the Sombra. It's just pushing the bot in these kind of scenarios. Yeah, Extinction, it's tough because you take these engagement, but Knife is always in the backline, getting some of these hacks and then trying to pick off some of these targets mid-engagement, right? Extinction really have to be aware of Knife Sombra play and try to shut it down because they just can't let Knife free farm on the off angle.
We've got the rally here from Vega to start off this next fight. And Vega, unfortunately, actually not able to sustain himself through his own ultimate. But Team Liquid still up and ready to go. Knife letting this EMP rip alongside this bullet shot from Tree. And so despite the fact that they lost Vega so early, the rest of the team is able to help pick up the pieces, put him in the backpack, and keep pushing this bot forward. RuPaul still has this orbital ray too. Johnny, it's a full cap. It's a full cap. I gotta call it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. RuPaul pops the orbital ray. Big blade here from NVM, but so much healing going on that you can't even find a target to begin with. Terra Surge. Oh my god, it's a 3K.
The triple from the Terra Surge. Not every day that you see that as a highlight reel from an Orisa. There's still a good fight though on the point, and Satori still is standing tall. The overrun, you've got the burn, and the respawns are fast for Extinction. But are they fast enough? It feels like they're just slaves to the slaughter as Team Liquid. They just continue to get these picks. Eventually they have to disengage, but not without Extinction taking a lot of casualties in the process.
Yeah, that spawn wave hit perfectly for Extinction, and then we're just barely able to get back in time there. And at that point, like Liquid, they had such a long way to get back to the fight that they were just never able to get their members back in time for Extinction spawn wave. But Liquid still firm control. 140 meters to 1. It's quite a decisive lead here on Runasapi, so Extinction with 4 minutes to go, they gotta start making a dent in this big lead of Team Liquid.
It's gonna be a hard road to climb. Team Liquid have made this differential such that even with the time that's left in the bank, Extinction, they just don't have the capability of losing a team fight from here on out. Hitori is a cage, goes in though, does get a little stunned, but still getting able to walk away, not too worse for wear. NVM can't say the same thing though. As the Genji goes down, Extinction have no choice except to start to fight together with this cardiac overdrive from the Mauga in this small room. Hitori gets a really nice pick on a Vega, as again, really focusing on that backline to make sure that that survivability isn't there. But while Hitori is trying to grab the back, like, yeah, Infected goes away with robbery again.
Infected was straight up like, sorry team, I don't really care if you guys die in this fight, but I'm just gonna take the bot. And now Knife is here dropping the EMP as well. They just gotta pick onto NVM. It's not going to be that impactful because NVM should get back here, but Hitori's going for an engage, has the cage, decides to drop it here as well, so...
Oh, and Wub actually does have a nice sightline there for the bullet shot, but RuPaul, oh my goodness, locking onto those targets so quickly. Those pulsar torpedoes are able to help make this fight in Team Liquid's favor. Sending that orbital ray down too, might have delayed by a couple of minutes, but the inevitable might come through, as that is a full capture for Team Liquid and a 2-0 so far in the series.
Oh, they're looking so good. They're looking so clean. And once again, like Knife with another fantastic performance on the Sombra as well. There's a lot of people out there, Rose, who going into this week, they picked up Zero in their fantasy lineup. Well, I got bad news. Zero's not even playing. $25 for nothing. So, but Knife has been looking amazing so far on the Sombra, and Team Liquid, they look, I mean, they just look immaculate on this Brawl composition, Rose.
Yeah. I mean, the Sombra's just so annoying. Every time the Knife is back there, there's a hack. You feel forced to turn around and try to address the Sombra that's going after your supports or even your Freya. And while that's all happening, the Team Liquid are bum rushing you. Like, they know that your attentions are turned behind you 180 degrees.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid are just like playing really well around this, right? Because they recognize that Extinction, they're going to go for this like big Mauga engage at some point. So if they can just like peel back, stay alive, and then break down Extinction once they're committed with the Mauga Oberon, for example, like that's what they're just doing beautifully, right? And then Knife can, you know, go to town on the Sombra here as well, and you know, get hacks in the backline, isolate picks, and like set up the team for success. So it's really a beautiful playstyle from Team Liquid. They're seeing what Extinction is trying to go aggressive with this Mauga. Instead, they stay composed, they stay far back, and they work their way around it.
They also know that sometimes they do have to sort of sacrifice Vega in a lot of these team fights. Vega is and has been like public enemy #1. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, you still have to trade the backlines, and they kind of know, like, unfortunately, Vega, you may just have to be bait as we have to clean up the rest of these fights.
Yeah, look, if you don't die a little bit in Overwatch, then maybe you're playing it too safe, Rose. So
yeah,
at some points you gotta brawl it out. At some points you gotta brawl it out and secure those final blows and try to take the duel, right? If you're just playing your life all the time, maybe you could have helped your team a little bit more. So do you want to reframe it as like, oh, Vega is...
I was saying like a positive thing.
Yeah, really taking it to the enemy team to like get down and dirty with the Lucio and try to secure the value for the rest of the team to win off it.
Yeah. No, there was a positive there. That was all positive. Maybe it wasn't coming across that way, but I meant like Vega is still putting in the work even as that backline support, like being that target. I do feel like it has allowed Team Liquid to make these fights easier. But you know what? We'll go to the next point. Next point is New Junk City. We're going to Flashpoint now in the series. Extinction's pick.
Yeah, and another brawl-friendly map here. I don't think any big surprises about what kind of playstyle we see from either of these teams, even though you kind of get dominated under an Asapi. Extinction clearly feel like this is the way to go in this specific matchup here. So heading over to New Junk City, we'll see what kind of bans come into place here, because like, do you want to ban the Sombra potentially? Or do you maybe want to ban one of these tanks? Regardless of what Extinction are going to try to do here when it comes to their pick ban, I feel like Team Liquid will have a great plan to work around it. I've been really impressed by Team Liquid and their ability to adapt so far this series, this entire stage. This is looking like a way more, you know, competitive team than we saw from Liquid in Stage 1, where they dropped a few series and looked a bit vulnerable at times.
Team Liquid heading into Stage 1 was one of the teams that people expected to see at the Champions Clash. Just knowing how much versatility that they had as a part of their team roster, those deep hero pools, I feel like it was it felt like a given for a lot of people putting in their predictions. But now this is the Team Liquid that I think steps up to the plate that really could make it to that international stage. And yeah, Johnny, you called it. Team Liquid, they're going to go ahead and ban out the Ramatra as Extinction. First to ban, get the Sombra.
Yeah, the Sombra was just too much. Like, Knife was just having too good of a series, so you don't want to see more of that Sombra now heading over to New Junk City. Ramatra ban comes out as well from Liquid, so you know, we talked about earlier in the series how they actually have played quite a bit of Ramatra. It's been a go-to kind of tank hero for Infected in some of these brawl comps, but it's New Junk City, Rose. All right, we're Mauga. We're gonna see the Mauga, unless don't bait me, Infected.
No,
don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, please. I can't take the bait.
But you know, Johnny, we actually did see a little bit of Reinhardt last weekend.
I did see that.
It was only for like
this morning too.
5 seconds, but
KSA played it this morning on Circuit, and they I mean, that was just a beatdown. But still, okay? Don't toy with my heart. Oh my god, they're gonna roll out on Ron.
No way. Oh my goodness, Team Liquid are doing it. It's gonna be this Reinhardt with a Mei and Symmetra. And Extinction come back out with the Mauga.
This is peak.
Johnny, Reinhardt in 2025.
This is peak, Rose. This is as good as it gets. Let's enjoy it and make the most out of it.
I love it here. We should have you on more often because you just bring the Reinhardt luck.
I can't wait to see what they got in store here. Knife on the Symmetra as well, so the teleporter at hand if you just want to TP in and get crazy with it. Teleporter comes out, bit of a bait for now. Charge coming in, pins the Mauga. That's what we love to see, Rose.
This is peak OWCS right here. All the while, this Reinhardt from Affected is causing chaos. You know, I wasn't necessarily able to actually get that pick onto Hittori, but, you know, we're appreciating the Reinhardt play right now. Oh my goodness, the Fire Strike into MVM as well. Okay, Infected is able to get out, I think. Doesn't have the escape mechanism of Vega, but they're sticking on the Reinhardt, Johnny.
Yeah, I think at this point, Infected might question the fact that he even lived in this fight and be like, maybe I should have gone down so I could swap
maybe
hero,
I
but
die next time.
yeah, but now we're stuck on this Reinhardt. We're coming up on an Earth Scatter. I gotta say, Rose, I love the Rhine, but tough to get value in this one. You gotta force the point pressure here and let the opponents come to you. Symmetra Teleporter can't quite catch anyone. You gotta pick onto Wob here, but it's hard to navigate the Extinction composition here.
You know, pause champ, Johnny. Like hold our breath for a second, because maybe this Reinhardt can actually do something here. Knife is so charged. Hittori is dead. Tree is to fall, but with this Symmetra photon barrier and the sound barrier in tow, this was a lot of protection. I mean, Extinction, they actually do fall in this fight. Not before capturing 92%, but Team Liquid, they do save the flashpoint and get themselves on the board.
Yeah, they contest the point beautifully because that is what Reinhardt do best, and at that point, Extinction a little bit split up. You know, you saw NVM go into the backline with the Dragon Blade while the rest of the team instead pushed back. Beautiful charge by Infected, I like to believe as well, getting the pin onto Nenwai, who is forced to swap over to the Lucio. This is NVM now on the Pharah, recognizing we can't go head-to-head with this Brawl comp. We have to poke them down. But just look at Liquid. They're in the backline somewhere. They're all the way over there. They're up to something.
Oh, well, they're up to no good, I think, is what you call that. Come in with the Earth Shatter and the Blizzard on top. RuPaul sends out the Immortality Field to deal with the Bola shot from Wob, but with this Orbital Ray now being pumped in by Scuffed, I mean, you would assume that this would be enough healing now to bully Team Liquid off the point. Extinction do extend their presence, get the Flashpoint back, and now Team Liquid are going to have to be the ones to step up to the Flashpoint plate in order to make sure that Extinction don't just take this one for free. And Knife gets 3 in the process. Hittori's going to be the last one alive and is able to secure the Flashpoint for her team. But Johnny, I thought maybe this Symmetra was about to 1v4.
Yeah, I got a 3k, and in fact, it is finally going to swap over to the Orisa. It was good while it lasted, Rose, but the Reinhardt was not long for this world. They tried to go for a bit of a Reinhardt engage with the Symmetra Teleporter, but it was a great point cap coming in from Extinction. So credit to Extinction. They play really well around that Reinhardt and cap the point, which just can't happen if you're playing a Reinhardt composition. You can't give the point up. So well played by Extinction, but now Liquid back on their comfort playing this Orisa.
Did you at least enjoy the Reinhardt while it lasted?
Oh, come on, it was great. It was great, yeah.
It's great. Hopefully we get a chance to see some Reinhardt again, but it's going to be the Orisa for now, as another photon barrier from Knife is going to get thrown into this next fight. Helps to split up the team and make sure that this Pharah just isn't as potent as Tree out of nowhere snipes NVM from the skies mid. Rocket Barrage. Extinction now, if they want to have hope of winning this Flashpoint, they have to invest more resources, and Nenwai is actually going to commit the sound barrier alongside Hittori and this cage, but it feels too little too late. A lot of heavy investment coming in from Extinction to not win out the fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, Team Liquid, they find a way to stay alive with some great Symmetra teleporters from Knife as well, great sound barrier from Vega as well, working their way around this Maga composition from Extinction, and then they just collapse onto them, able to deal with them when Extinction are all spread out. And VM is on this Pharah pick, which is, you know, you can justify it maybe because there's no true hitscan player on Liquid when they're playing the Symmetra and Freya composition, but at the same time, you know, you gotta be able to follow up on some of this damage, kind of putting your team in a tricky spot here. So Scuffed has this Kitsune Rush with 90% of the timer heroes. This has to be a fight win for Extinction.
Well, one way to be able to follow up on that Pharah damage is going to be with this Hazard. Hittori switches to this tank choice to get back to the Flashpoint and help to engage. We have the Kitsune Rush that doesn't really find a whole lot of value for Extinction outside of being able to create some space as Team Liquid approaches 99%. While Knife falls, we have a turret that's able to help shore up some of that damage. And Team Liquid, they get their first Flashpoint now, and a bit of a stagger there onto Wob. I guess you get the respawns here, but
Yeah, gonna
Good
get able to get the spawn, indeed, and get back into the next one here. Taking a look at the stats real quick here. In fact, they're already making up for it on the Orisa here. You know, just holding the fort down onto the point itself here. Again, highlighting Knife as well. Just continues to have a really good series for this team. Now over onto the Tracer in this matchup as well. See if he can compete with some of the performances we've seen from Zero here in the past. Orbital Ray available for RuPaul heading into this point. It's going to be... Oh. Knife already finds a Tracer pick. You don't even need the Orbital Ray at this point.
I agree with you. Hold the Orbital Ray for the next fight. If you're going to be able to win out this flashpoint and capture in the neutral, that's going to feel so nice to be able to approach the next engagement. And alongside that Orbital Ray, you've got the bullet shot and maybe even this pulse bomb.
Yeah, it's huge for the ultimate economy. Like, Knife just conjures up a first pick in that fight, and RuPaul is able to hold on to the Orbital Ray. Like, that is just so much value provided to the rest of his team. So great play from Knife once more, and now Extinction, they're just walking into this fight, but they have no ultimates on the board.
Especially when they are like so close, but feels like so far from being able to commit this sound barrier. RuPaul's going to be the first one to let that support ultimate go. But Nenwai does get the sound barrier on in time, able to save Scuffed in the process as Scuffed gets very low. But now that the sound barrier overhealth is expired, Scuffed, Wub, they are under so much threat, and Vega is able to have the later beat, giving Team Liquid just the power that they need in order to save this team fight, get the win, and maybe even get this flashpoint leading the series.
Yeah, it's another good sound barrier from Vega. Just the perfect time to like really turn the tide in that fight when a lot of ultimates were coming out from Extinction. So Extinction do get the point flip, but it's going to be Team Liquid closing out another round here on New Junk City. Spawners coming in, then why? That's tough. That's tough, buddy. This is Team Liquid going up to a 2-1 lead here. And, you know, they're at match point, Rose, so... Extinction. A lot of pressure here to come back and win out here on New Junk City to stay alive in the series.
Map point on Flashpoint and match point in the series. It doesn't get any easier than that for Team Liquid. Pulse Bomb gets thrown out here by Knife. Unfortunately, not able to actually get a pick, but it's enough chaos that Tree is able to find a bullet shot, weave it in, and VM feels forced to have to use the blade here. But where are the kills? Tree has still put in so much DPS into this fight. The blade gets negative value here as Knife still goes in. This team fight is not clean.
It's all over the place, really, but Hitori, big presence here on the point with the Mauga, of course, and then RuPaul gets cleaned up by NY. So it's going to be a great first win. First fight win here on this point by Extinction, actually able to stay alive and survive an entire engagement from Team Liquid. And they got some great ultimates here on the board as well. You got a Kitsune Rush online for you here and the cage as well. Maybe able to catch some of the backline for Team Liquid here. This is Extinction now, giving themselves a condition to stay alive in this series.
Ooh, nice Suzu coming in there from Scuffed to be able to save backline's life as Wob with a great pick onto Tree. Team Liquid, though, I mean, they kind of played ring around the rosy to the point where they were able to get a little bit of flashpoint percentage on the board. Extinction, though, they get a little bit wise to it, lay down this rush, and just try to go to town. Scuffed finding infected means that this Terror Surge is now offline. RuPaul throws in the Kitsune Rush, but there's really not as much value.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't get up quite there, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's really impressive play by Extinction. Like, they're playing really proactive, Rose. You know, they lost the point because they hunted outside of this kind of point indoors here, but you know, they get a pick and they secure the fight win, then proactively drop the Kitsune Rush here as well. It's last fight territory here for Liquid on this point themselves, and Vega's going to invest the Soundbarrier.
Now you see Nenwai answer it in kind, just to continue to utilize that proactive play. But because Hitori falls without being able to use the cage, I fear that that proactive play might get punished. Not having a sound barrier for this next fight means that you're just not going to have that same type of sustain to be able to deal with something like the Terror Surge. And with how much point presence is going to be required to use the ultimates that are online for Team Liquid and Extinction, it doesn't get any closer than this.
It does not get closer, indeed. See what Wob can do with this Ebola shot. This is really when you need your Freya player to come out clutch and find one of these picks, right? Yes, you have a Dragon Blade and a cage, But really, you pick this Freya to get some of these picks early in these engagements, and this will be a perfect time for it. But Knife again with the pulse bomb.
Oh, then why now? Without that Lucio, there's just no escape. Hitora uses his cage, and it feels like it's quite late. Wup somehow eliminates himself from this team fight. Extinction are still able to get a couple of picks here and there as Hitori's cage does find Infected, but Team Liquid, they still find the picks. And you're right, Nedwat can't even get back to the point. There's 3 seconds left and nobody in sight to get the touch. And Team Liquid, a clean 3-0 to win out our final series of the day.
Wow. Another series just speed run by Team Liquid here, going 3-0 against Extinction, and they played so clean. Like, really, I'm so impressed by Knife as well, coming in here instead of Zero into the starting lineup and just putting on a clinic on all 3 maps. They were dominant pretty much throughout this entire series. So Extinction couldn't quite claw themselves back onto that New Junk City. Team Liquid with another stellar performance here to close things out on New Junk City.
They did indeed, and you know what, I'm just happy we got to see Reinhardt. Did I want to see more maps today overall? Did I want a 3-0 day? No, I didn't.
We're so back.
But Infected by Reinhardt, we're so back. Avril's Moga's meta narrative dies, so that makes me even more happy. He tried so hard to shoehorn that in, reinforce. I don't watch Plat Chat that often, but Avril was dying on the hill. It was 2 hours of Avril trying to spin up a narrative.
trying to spin up on a Mauga meta, because we've been seeing Mauga a lot, especially in EMEA, right? There's been a lot of Mauga in EMEA, and we saw some in Korea as well. I feel like at this point, Mauga has been so nerfed that I can't even complain about Mauga anymore. Like, Mauga is borderline honorable, Zoe.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like there's just a usage case to be made for most of the heroes you can play. Infected made the opposite with the Reinhardt. Clearly did not work out, but it was a good time for all of us involved anyway, and they won the map. So really, I saw the vision. I wanted to see the vision.
I wanted to see the vision.
That's what it was.
that's my new phrase. I wanted to see the vision.
I wanted to see the vision. You know what? I'm just continued to be excited for Team Liquid and what they can do this very season. I don't feel like they've been tested just yet. I think that has yet to come.
But I'm so excited to see the fact that both Knife and Zera can offer such different values to Team Liquid's roster. And maybe we get a world where, like, they get played together or something. But I love it. Johnny, I feel like that just provides so much depth to the DPS lineup that you've got some really great choices no matter what the occasion is.
Yeah, the squad is looking well-rounded. Like, I feel like this team is really coming into form. And, you know, they barely missed out on Champions Clash in Stage 1. But I still feel a few of us were still disappointed because we went into the season with like huge expectations on Liquid. We thought they could potentially be a team that take it to some of the best teams in the world, right? Well, like we maybe thought that they could get the top 4s at the big stage finals like Champions Clash, but they didn't end up qualifying because Nightmare had a huge performance with Zero in the roster, right? So now you poach Zero. You invite Zero into your team instead, and now maybe you're really starting to excel here with Knife finding a spot as well, playing some of the Sunrise series.
Can't beat them kind of situation. But yeah, Team Liquid, if you're looking at their schedule, I feel like they're getting the tough opponents out of the way earlier on in this stage, and then at the very end of it, they will be facing off against Sakura, Dill Ducks and whatnot. So for them to have such a dominant performance very early on can be so crucial for the later parts of the stage. Now, we do have Infected joining us for a quick chat. So first things first, of course, congratulations on the dub. It's great to have you back on cam. Obviously, this is just another day in the office. You guys made quick work of your opponents here. And also, we got to see you playing Reinhardt. Did it work? No. Did we enjoy it? Yes. Did you shoehorn that in just because you can? Or like, what was the thought process? Walk us through this.
Honestly, I think that comp is pretty good on that map, and we just played poorly. But I definitely thought in my head that people were gonna think that we were trolling because we're up 2-0, and then we go Ryan, and then we lose, and then we swap. But I think that comp's actually good, and we just didn't execute it properly.
Don't let the idea die. That's my tank player. That's my goal.
We won't.
Don't let the Reinhardt idea die. I appreciate it. Look, you big guys have been looking amazing so far in Stage 2. You're obviously taking down Space Station last week, but now looking real clean with another 3-0. Do you feel like the vibes are a little different from stage 1? How would you compare the Team Liquid in stage 2 to the one in stage 1?
I think the Liquid in stage 1, we really just didn't understand how to play with each other. And I think we were just all on different pages about how we wanted to play the game. And just like even in matches and stuff, I think people would get nervous. I know I would get nervous, honestly. I think just being on like an org like Liquid 2 brings a lot of nerves, to me at least. But stage 2, we're all in a team house. And during like the break that we had during Champions Clash, I think we just worked really hard on like how we wanted to play with each other, how we all think of the game, and just like being on the same page. And like now, like just being in the team house and just playing all with each other, it's honestly like really fun to play with everyone. And I love everyone. I think we've been doing really good too, like in scrims and matches. So.
Oh, y'all have been doing amazing. I mean, I feel like the hard work has really manifested itself in the last couple of matches that you all have had together as a squad. And I'm kind of wondering if you could touch on a little bit, you know, you added Zera to the roster, you have this flexibility now with Knife. Where do you feel like all of the DPS players kind of fill a role to play alongside you on tank?
Yeah, so like Zero joining the team, that guy's like been my best friend since I was 13, and he's insane. He played really well at the Champions Clash, so it's awesome to have him here. I think he's really good on like Genji and Tracer and like Pharah and like characters like that. But I think Knife is also really good on like the Sombra like today and like the Sim, like those more like obscure DPS heroes, I would say. So it's nice that we can have like all three of our DPS players kind of have like a role on the team, and they all like play really, really well.
Yeah, and you guys just look so well-rounded as a unit. We're very excited to see more of you this stage. Now, before I let you go, a quick congratulations is in order because you are getting yourself the Player of the Match honors. Yes. So, yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Often our players pretend like that actually is like a real award. But yes, we're rooting for you guys. It's so exciting to see you guys back in action and having such a great start to the stage. So pass the congratulations along to the rest of the squad and good luck in next week's game.
Thank you so much.
He does the same thing at the end of like, so when I'm video chatting with my brother, before we say bye, we both make a really dumb face, like just like a and I get affected every time at the end of a video conference call. I don't know, like a stream.
He has a great thumbnail reaction. As you know, we're all content creators. You know, it's a great like shocked face for the thumbnail. So Infected, you got a career ahead of yourself there.
Yeah, absolute content, just content across the board.
Content.
He's doing it right. Good clippable moments. That's what we're here to look at. Now let's take a look at the standings to see where we stand after the first day of play here in week 2. Team Liquid and Nightmare currently at the very top of it all, both with a 2-0 score.
Yeah, Team Liquid. Now tied for first there as well, +5. You know, we didn't even touch on Tree, really, which to me is just another strength of this team. Last week we talked about Tree being potentially the best Freya player in the West. Just looked amazing on this new hero being introduced into Overwatch. But we didn't even talk about Tree. Like the rest of the team just stood out and were the ones who took over the match, like Infected, Knife, these huge individuals, right? So I think that really speaks to the strength of Team Liquid this stage, the fact that they have so many great